We owe it all to Andy Warhol and to Anita Bryant.
Hello, and welcome to the Tour Project. I'm Project Manager Eric Solomon. For this stop on the tour, navigate to 800 North Highland Avenue Northeast, Atlanta, Georgia, 30306. This is the former site of the Atlanta Metropolitan Community Church, which was housed in the Highland Theater. AMCC was a Protestant congregation centered on social justice and liberation for oppressed groups across the city, with particular emphasis on gay and lesbian people. Founded in the early 1970s, the AMCC served as a meeting space, performance venue, and safe haven for the city's queer population, who typically faced ridicule and violence at the hands of other Christian churches. Early events hosted at the AMCC included gay arts and crafts shows, speeches during Pride Month, and the first annual Atlanta LGBTQ Film Festival in 1979. AMCC hosted services on Sundays at 2 and 6 p.m., and on Wednesdays, they hosted a supper at 7 and a service at 8. In the June 12, 1975 issue of The Great Speckled Bird, Gay Liberation Front co-founder Bill Smith stated the following: "The MCC serves an important function in Atlanta. It is important to remember that the South is the Bible Belt. Most Southerners had a deep religious background in their youth, with Sunday schools and church taken very seriously. The church atmosphere, the acceptance, the sense of quiet and strength are all very important to gays here and fill a great need in our lives." In addition to other local LGBTQIA+ events, the Atlanta MCC was the recurring host of the Red Dyke Theater, a lesbian vaudeville drag troupe closely associated with the Atlanta Lesbian Feminist Alliance, or ALPHA. Here's Dave Hayward with more about the Atlanta Metropolitan Community Church.
So now we're talking about the businesses and places along the Ponce de Leon corridor. And one of the major places that you would never know now was the first permanent site of the Metropolitan Community Church, which is a LGBTQ community church founded by gay pastor Troy Perry in California, which spread across the country. And the MCC came to Atlanta in January of 1972. And the first minister was the Reverend John Gill. And originally they met at the Pocket Theater, which was in downtown Atlanta. And then they moved over to a church in Decatur. And then they took over the former site of the Highland Theater on North Highland Avenue. And that was their first permanent or ongoing site of the Atlanta MCC Church. My understanding is that there was a bombing, an act of vandalism at the church in 1978. And there was damage, but the church was able to stay open and keep open. And in addition to Manuel's, which is actually right down the street from the former site of the MCC, that was also a basic clearinghouse and gathering space for everyone in the community. And MCC was very generous in hosting a lot of events. And they hosted the screening of the landmark LGBTQ documentary Word Is Out in 1978. And then my former partner, Greg James, and I got together with the Atlanta Gay and Lesbian Center in 1979. And we had two LGBT film festivals, one in June, the traditional Pride Month, and then another in October of 1979. And I also want to call attention to John Howell, who was on the board of the Atlanta Gay and Lesbian Center and was very helpful in terms of making those festivals happen. We called it the Lavender Film Festival. And like I said, two showings in 1979. MCC was really important in terms of the development of our community And I want to especially give props to Reverend John Gill, the first minister of the Atlanta MCC. And he marched with us in our Atlanta Pride March in 1972. And as we've talked about, that was somewhat controversial. There were certain people that did not want us to have an Atlanta Pride March, did not want to have a march in the streets. And there were people that were part of MCC that did not want to have any part of being in a gay pride march. And John went ahead and marched with us, and I was glad that he did that. And some of the people from MCC joined him, and some people did not. But there he is in his clerical collar, marching in the 1972 Pride. So, yay for John Gill.
Thank you for joining us on this stop of the Tour Project. For more information, visit tourqueeratlanta.org. That's TUOR queeratlanta.org.